Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, taking a look at another 2023 NFL mock draft for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, before we even get into it again, I just can't thank you guys enough. We've been ripping a lot of Dallas Cowboys mock drafts. The support you guys have shown and the engagement has been absolutely awesome. Like, that's the beauty of mock draft season, is just chopping it up about prospects, position fits, and you guys have been absolutely awesome with it. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We will be breaking down the Dallas Cowboys pick on draft night as well. And then let us know in the comment section whether you agree with it, whether you disagree with it. Let us know. Let's talk some ball in the comment section. Without further ado, though, let's get into it. Rock, and you're the expert here, before we even get into the draft and work in different simulations and situations, what is your dream 2 picks for the Dallas Cowboys at 26 and 58 here?
Realistically, I want to shore up the left side of the line, so probably a left guard. And then the second round, I'd probably want to go corner. I don't really think that – I think that's kind of the sweet spot for corners. There might be a run right before. So if we're talking specific players, I think like Darnell Wright at 26.
He would be so good.
Yeah. It'd be a reach at this point. I think he's kind of like climbing.
Yeah, he is.
Right now. And then Emmanuel Forbes. In the second round would be sweet. Having him across the field from Trayvon Diggs and just get turnovers.
That's a turnover machine. I mean, and you're gonna get a shot at a really good cornerback. Like, we've been picking cornerback at 58 pretty consistently. There's so many good cornerbacks in this class. All right, let's fire it up. I have a couple picks in mind, but again, this is why it's fun, just kind of playing with different scenarios here. Dallas Cowboys picking at 25 here. Let's check who's on the board. You got Anton Harrison. The only thing with Anton Harrison, though, is he going to play guard?
I like him at tackle. I mean, I don't think, like, for the Cowboys, I think they'd have to play him at guard because there's not really a spot for him because we have Tyler Smith and then Terrence Steele at right tackle. But unless we want to move in Tyler Smith, which I don't want to do. So, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, we took Bijan last time. We're not going to take Bijan this time. You could go cornerback here now. Would you go Steve Avila like this early?
So personally, I wouldn't. So I guess it sets it up for the rest of the draft. Is this what I would want to do, or is it kind of more what I think the Cowboys would do in this situation?
What would you want to do here?
Well, personally, I wouldn't pick Avila because I have him like a strong second, third round pick.
Same.
I'm not that high on him. I'm higher than on Osiris Torrance, who I'd be fine with in the first round. If you go up a little bit more, see who else is on the board. Yeah,
I mean Ryan Brazee sitting there is.
It's enticing, but again, like I'm not as high on him as you, and I don't think the NFL is either. So
yeah.
And I'm not going to do Bijan. I think we've
exhausted the Bijan.
We've seen it play out.
Osiris is just a meat and potato type pick.
I like Osiris. I have him higher than Avila. I don't know what the Cowboys do, but if it's me and I'm drafting, I'm picking Torrance here. I mean, just shore up the left side. Run blocking is going to be fun to watch. Whoever's going to play running back for us besides Pollard is going to have a great time.
Man, Osiris Torrance, Tyler Smith, like that's some horsepower up front. You're going to go run football.
Yeah,
let's do it. That's not a sexy pick for the Cowboys, but. Like that's just such a solid pick. Like, you're getting a day one starter who's going to start for a long time. And I get reaching on an interior offensive lineman in the first round is like questionable, but you are getting a guy that's just going to play a lot of football at a high level for the Cowboys. All right, you said cornerback at 58. Let's take a look at who's available here at 58. And a guy like Emmanuel Forbes, I'm really interested to see where Emmanuel Forbes ends up going because he is like concerningly small at this point.
You could see him falling for sure. I mean, he did have a great combine besides his weight. And you could argue that a lot of his interceptions were kind of just in his lap. But at a point, you can't just keep calling it luck.
I agree. All right. We've taken Tyreek Stevenson. I like Tyreek Stevenson here. Is there any other position you're taking a look at, though?
Position or player? Oh, you're saying position. If it's not, I mean, who is Laporta still up there? Is there any tight ends? Because I know that we have like the whole.
Lukey Musgrave's here.
I mean, I doubt he's there this late in the second round.
I think he might. I've heard really good things about Sam Laporta. Like, I heard a lot of teams like him as a top 50 guy.
Yeah, I mean, On my board, Luke Musgrave's by far the best tight end here. I have Schoonmaker ahead of Tucker Kraft, actually. So let's go Luke Musgrave. I mean,
I agree. And Luke Musgrave I think, brings a different element to your tight end. It's like Big Ten tight end in Dallas, right? It's a bunch of guys who are solid. I don't know if they're difference makers. You want a guy in the red zone who's just going to eat up the middle of the field as well. It's Luke Musgrave, right? Runs extremely well, has a massive catch radius. I think that's the perfect. I mean, you got kind of what you got: Brandon Cooks, CeeDee Lamb. Luke Musgrave is a great wide receiver 3 in this offense. And again, I don't think he gets enough credit for being an inline blocker as well. But if you need someone else to do it, you got plenty of other tight ends who can get that done, like a guy like Sean McKeon. Luke Musgrave, though, he's tight end 1 for me, and he's a game changer, I think, in terms of pass catcher.
Yeah, I agree. So let's stretch the middle of the field a little bit.
He just eats up, and he's a guy that I think would be really talking about a first round talent if he didn't get hurt that senior year, because he was looking like a freak. All right, 90. Garrett Williams still on the board. Let's take a look at this cornerback room again.
I like Garrett Williams. Have you really?
Yeah, I like him. I like Jalen Jones a lot too. He matches what Dallas would like.
Mm-hmm. I know who they would take here.
Who would they take here?
Darius Rush, for sure. That's already been at this point. We're close to the who is better on that team conversation than like if he'd be picked in day 2 or not. It's like I think Darius Rush is almost a second round pick at this point, and some people have him ahead of Cam Smith, which I'm not really that shocked about. I mean, he's got the strength that Cam Smith kind of mentally plays with, but he's got good speed, got good footwork. He's got great ball skills as well. And he's
former wideout.
Love. Yeah, I know. And he played quarterback in college, or in high school.
Trayvon didn't Diggs play or wide receiver at some point in his career?
He did. When he came out of high school, he's a wide receiver, and then Saban convinced him to play corner, and it all worked out for him in the end.
Hey, that's worked out for some cornerbacks in the past. Richard Sherman is another guy you could add to that list too. So I mean, Darius Rush is smooth. He has like the lengthy one, but the footwork you said is really impressive. Eli Ricks would probably be my pick there if we fleshed out those cornerbacks a little bit at late day 2. I like Eli Ricks. And again, that speaks to like the depth of this class. I think it's easily the best position group. So reaching for a cornerback at 26 might not be the move, because you're going to get a really, really good cornerback at either pick 58 or 90.
Yeah, agreed. And here, I think we can start looking at running back. We don't really have a single healthy running back on our team because Pollard's still dealing with his ankle or foot, whatever he broke. And there's a lot of guys, as you can see.
And we've again talking about the depth of this class, like that's running back. You have the star power in Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs. This is also a really deep group, and you kind of have a choose your flavor here. So I'll probably open it up to you. Oh, hold on. Shout out Ricky Stromberg, getting finally some respect on the PFF board. I've been taking him at round. I'm kind of pissed that they have him here now, because he's been like my round 6 pick for every single team. He's an absolute dog. He's finally getting some respect, so I love that. I'm going to ask you to choose your flavor here. You have Tony Pollard. What is like the type of running back that you would kind of lean with here for Dallas at 129?
More of a bruiser. I think that's the easy answer. I know they've done a lot of homework on Kendre Miller and also Roschon Johnson, who I think I saw down below. Yeah, they're like neck and neck on my running back board. I don't know. Who would you rather have at this point? I mean, yeah, DeWayne McBride as well. So, is that your guy?
I think he's a perfect fit. I think we've talked about it a couple times, but like you look at, I mean, there hasn't been a much more productive running back at the FBS level than a guy like DeWayne McBride. I know it's a group of 5 level, but again, you look at 7.3 yards per carry on 233 carries, 205. He has a lot of wear on his tires there, but I mean, he, in terms of a pure ball carrier, is one of the best running backs in the class.
Yeah, no, I agree. As a runner, he's probably the most pure runner in the class besides Bijan Robinson. But yeah, no, I'm fine with him. I mean, there's really no way you can go wrong with this pick. There's just too much depth. Yeah, let's go McBride. I mean,
I think the only pick you wouldn't do is probably Deuce Vaughn. As much as I love Deuce Vaughn, I just don't know if he's the guy to pick with Tony Pollard in the backfield. DeWayne McBride is I know this is going to sound crazy, and I'm not saying he's going to be Nick Chubb, but he's like the Nick Chubb of college football. He's not going to catch any passes for you, but purely with the ball in his hands. Like outside of Bijan Robinson, between the tackles, there's not many better running backs than Dwayne McBride with the ball in his hands.
And quick thing with Deuce Vaughn, his father is a scout on the Cowboys.
That's true. I didn't know that.
Keep that in mind. I don't think there's a chance he doesn't get drafted. I think that's very possible with the size. So he'd be an easy undrafted free agent target for us. I think he'd come right along. But maybe later in the draft, 6th, 7th round, I'd be more open to taking him.
All right, 169. And the cool thing about this Dallas Cowboys depth chart is there's not too many glaring holes. And the glaring holes we did have, I think we added running back room depth. We added some cornerback depth. We obviously got our starter on the interior offensive line, Osiris Torrance. Now you're kind of just getting some good players that you like. Any positions you're targeting here?
Linebacker, maybe. Edge rusher, probably.
I would like to look at edge rusher because this is a class. I think we might have missed out on some of my favorite edge rushers, like a Zach Harrison or a KJ Henry, but there are still some. I don't know. I might have spoke too soon there.
What, you soured on your guy, Dylan Horton, a little bit?
I'm probably not at 169.
You were on him.
Yeah, probably not at 169. Because again, it's just limited upside. I think he's just a rotational guy. I don't think he has much. I don't know if he's going to be a starter at the NFL anytime in his career.
I mean, I like Jose Ramirez. If you got to watch him a little bit.
I haven't watched him. Tell me about him.
I mean, he's bendy. Definitely someone that you don't want to start day one. So, I mean, back end of the 4th, 5th round, wherever we are right now, I think it's perfect. Let him sit behind Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence for a year and then really hone in on those pass rush skills. So I'm a huge fan of his. I think he ends up going a little bit higher than this just because he's got so much upside and he's a great athlete. I'd be more than okay with that pick.
I'm going to put him on the list to watch before the draft, too.
Yeah.
I haven't watched him yet. I've seen him. I've read a little bit about him. We'll rock with it. I mean, 22% pass rush win rate. I'll take that any day, even though it's coming from the MAC, which, yikes.
Yeah, hey.
Easy on the MAC slander. Easy on the MAC slander. 212 and 244 coming up next. This is in my how I approach the draft is kind of just best player available. Where are kind of gems that we like, dude. I mean, Senior Bowl stud.
I think Brugler put him inside as top 100.
I don't know if I'm there yet. But
I haven't watched him yet just because he came on so late in the process. So someone I need to look at apparently because he's gaining steam quickly.
Well, it's weird at what you're gonna play him at. I think he's more of a linebacker because I don't know if he can cover well. But God, it's a spacey linebacker if he can put on a little bit of weight because he's small. He's 6'3", 216. You look at him, he doesn't look like a linebacker, but he does play a lot in the box.
I mean, if we're looking at Dan Quinn defense historically, I mean, that's the same size as Deion Jones, almost to a T. So, yeah. I mean, it would make sense for us. I'm also looking at kicker here because we have been to both Jake Moody and the Maryland kicker. What's his name? I should know this. Ryland. Yeah, Chad Ryland. We've been to both their pro days and I think some other private visits as well. So, I mean, we need a kicker at this point, and either one of those guys is fine with me.
And if you guys are listeners, you know how I feel about Jake Moody. As a Michigan fan, I'm not just being a homer here because guess what? I'm not going to go to bat for the kicker here. Right. But Jake Moody's a guy that's had to make a lot of big time field goals, and I think it's awesome to get a guy who and he has he hit his longest 56. He has the NFL leg. What's more important about Jake Moody, and I sound crazy, I'm going into my eval on a kick, but. He just makes big time kicks when it matters. There were games that you look at that Illinois game, we would have lost 44-yarder, cold, windy, and he makes the kick. He's a gamer, and that's kind of what I want from a. I mean, that's at the highest level of college football, and he's making big time kicks. Respectfully for Maryland, not in many close, meaningful games this year. How many times has Chad Ryland had to make a big time kick in his career?
Yeah, I mean, couldn't answer that off the top of the head.
A little straight to Maryland. Maybe not fair. But we are going to go with Jake Moody because I do think he's the best kicker in this class just based on he has the NFL leg, he has the accuracy, but he also has that experience of I've kicked in big-time games, in big-time moments, and I'm nails. Call him Money Moody. Let's go get Marte Mapu now. If he's there, one, you're going to get a guy who's good on special teams. And around 7, he's going to make this roster, I think. Because he has a special set of skill sets that a lot of players in the NFL don't have. Now, do I think he's going to be a starting linebacker year one, starting safety year one? Probably not. But he's a guy that's going to make your team. He's going to play special teams. He's going to be really good at what you ask him to do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think we've talked about him earlier, and
Yeah.
I agree with everything you just said. It's an easy pick, huge upside, and I mean,
Yeah,
that's
and
not a
big
great
upside.
draft for the Cowboys.
All right, let's take a look at how we did here. And again, like
We want bad grades. We want
bad grades. We want bad grades. I don't think they'll like the Osiris Torrance pick. I want to talk about that pick a little bit more because you're just rolling the dice here. Like if you told me you could get Steve Avila or John Michael Schmitz at pick 20 or at pick 58, I'd pass on Osiris Torrance at 26. That being said, I don't think those guys make it to 58.
No, they're right in like that early to mid second round, and they're going to stay there.
Yeah, Luke Musgrave.
If we're talking realistically, I also think Luke Musgrave probably doesn't make it this far, just because I think he's getting more first round buzz every single day, and NFL teams are seeing the Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce, kind of dominate the league, especially in the playoffs. And I think Luke Musgrave shares some traits to Travis Kelce. I'm not saying he is by any means, but you can see how he can affect a defense.
Yeah, and I wonder because I think there will be a tight end that falls. You know what I mean? If you ask me, is there going to be all 5 of those tight ends picked in the top 58 picks? Mm-hmm. Probably not. So I think a guy like Luke Musgrave will be there at 58. I just don't know if it'll be him or Sam Laporta. I don't think Don Kincaid or Michael Mayer make there. Luke Musgrave would be such a good pick, though.
Yeah.
My favorite pick of this draft, I mean, Darius Rush probably. I really like. You could have picked any cornerback there at pick 90, and I would have liked the pick a lot, though.
Right. Yeah,
I love it.
It's a good draft. I mean, especially PFF giving us a good grade. Again, we hope for the bad grades, but when the good grades come, we can't really.
We're not complaining. Now, we got probably one more mock draft for the Dallas Cowboys next week as just a little primer for the day we've all been waiting for, right? Since January, scouting these players, talking about how players fit in, different position fits. It's almost that time. So again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. You can't thank you guys enough. We'll be back draft night talking about where Dallas goes with this pick. So again, tune in for that. We appreciate the support you guys are showing, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.